Let us talk about the exact moment One Piece went from a silly pirate cartoon to an absolute masterclass in emotional devastation. I'm talking, of course, about the Baratie Arc. And listen, I'm still not fully recovered from what Eiichiro Oda did to us here. It all starts when Luffy, in true Luffy fashion, crashed through the wall of a fancy floating restaurant like he's the Kool-Aid man. This is where we meet Sanji, this smooth, blonde-haired cook who immediately starts flirting with Nami. At first glance, you think, okay, typical anime pervert character, got it, but you would be so wrong. This man, Sanji, possesses one of the most unbreakable moral codes in the entire series, and it all revolves around a simple, powerful principle: he will feed anyone who's hungry. It doesn't matter if you're a pirate, a marine, a future world destroyer, a literal god. If you're starving, you get food. No questions asked, no exceptions. This isn't just a quirky character trait. It's the core of his being, a philosophy forged in unimaginable suffering. And the arc wastes no time putting this conviction to the ultimate test. Enter Don Krieg. This guy shows up, half dead, crawling on his hands and knees, begging for a meal. Now, Don Krieg is supposed to be this big-shot pirate, the ruler of the East Blue with a fleet of 50 ships. But something, or someone, has completely annihilated his entire armada, leaving him shipwrecked and starving. The other cooks are like, no way, this guy's a menace, kick him out. But Sanji, he doesn't hesitate. He brings Krieg a plate of hot food, knowing full well that once this ruthless pirate regains his strength, he'll probably try to kill everyone and take the restaurant. And guess what? That's exactly what happens. The moment Krieg feels better, he reveals his true colors. He's an ungrateful, power-hungry psychopath, and he immediately tries to seize control of the Baratie. He mocks Sanji's kindness, calling him a fool for helping an enemy. The chaos that erupts is intense, but it's all just a prelude to the real gut punch of this arc. Because to understand why Sanji is the way he is, we have to go back to his past. We have to witness the backstory that broke an entire generation of One Piece fans. We flash back to a young Sanji, a naive little apprentice cook on a passenger ship, dreaming of finding the All Blue, a legendary sea where all the world's oceans meet. He's a bit of a spoiled kid, full of bravado and convinced he knows everything about being a chef and a pirate. Then, their ship is attacked by the infamous pirate, Red Leg Zeph. This guy was a legend, so fierce he would kick his opponents so hard their blood would permanently stain his shoes. During a raging storm, both Sanji and Zeph are thrown overboard and wash up on a tiny, barren rock in the middle of nowhere. They're stranded, with no hope of rescue. All they have are 2 small bags of food. Zeph gives Sanji 1 bag, which seems small, and keeps a much larger, heavier bag for himself. He tells Sanji to go to the other side of the rock and watch for ships, warning him not to be foolish with his rations. Days turn into weeks. Sanji, starving and desperate, quickly eats all his food. Meanwhile, he watches Zeph from afar, convinced the old pirate is hoarding a massive feast in that big bag. The hunger gnaws at him, and resentment builds. He thinks Zeph is a selfish monster, letting a child starve while he gorges himself. After over 2 months, Sanji can't take it anymore. Driven by pure desperation, he decides he's going to kill Zeph and take the food for himself. He sneaks over to where Zeph is sitting, knife in hand, ready to do the unthinkable. He slashes open the big bag, expecting to find it overflowing with treasure or, at the very least, tons of food. And this is the moment, the part that destroyed me and everyone else watching. The bag is completely empty. It's full of nothing but gold and treasure. It was always empty of food. In that horrifying instant, Sanji understands. He looks over at Zeph, and he sees it. Zeph's leg is gone. The old pirate gave him all the food they had from day one. Every last scrap, and to survive, Zeph had smashed his own leg with a rock and eaten it. He didn't lose it in a battle or an accident. He deliberately consumed his own limb, enduring unimaginable pain, all to keep this random kid he just met alive. The sheer weight of that sacrifice crushed Sanji. He breaks down completely, crying and apologizing, realizing the depth of Zeph's love and selflessness. This is why Sanji can never refuse a hungry person. This is why he believes that giving someone food is the most sacred act. He knows what true starvation feels like, and he knows what it feels like to be saved by an act of impossible generosity. The Baratie is just a restaurant to him. It's a monument to Zeph's sacrifice. It represents the most profound act of love imaginable, and he will protect it, and the man who saved him, with his life. So when Don Krieg threatens to destroy it, Sanji fights with a fury born from that love and gratitude. But just when you think the emotional roller coaster is over, the situation gets even crazier. Out of nowhere, Dracula Mihawk casually shows up. He just rows up to the restaurant in a tiny, coffin-shaped boat. Why is the world's strongest swordsman here? Was he chasing Krieg? Nope. He was just bored. Mihawk single-handedly destroyed Don Krieg's entire fleet of 50 ships because he had nothing better to do that afternoon. He literally shattered an armada for sport. The sheer difference in power level is terrifying. And what does our boy Zoro do? Of course, being the ambitious, slightly idiotic swordsman that he is, he immediately challenges Mihawk to a duel. He sees the man who holds the title he's sworn to achieve, and he can't back down. What follows isn't a fight, it's a humiliation. Mihawk toys with him, using a tiny necklace knife to effortlessly block all of Zoro's three-sword-style attacks. He recognizes Zoro's spirit but completely outclasses him in skill. Mihawk delivers a final, devastating slash across Zoro's chest, a wound that should have killed him. But in that moment of defeat, Zoro turns to face Mihawk, declaring that scars on the back are a swordsman's shame. He chooses to face the final blow head-on. Impressed by his honor, Mihawk spares him, leaving him with a massive scar and a promise. My name is Dracula Mihawk. It is still too early for you to die. Know yourself, know the world, and become strong. I will wait for you at the top. This moment solidifies Zoro's dream and sets the scale for the entire series. It shows our crew, thus how big and dangerous the world truly is, and how far they still have to go. So, at the end of it all, Sanji officially joins the crew as their cook, leaving the Baratie and the father figure who sacrifice everything for him. The farewell is one of the most tear-jerking scenes in anime history. Zeph and all the cooks, who act tough and pretend they're glad to see him go, are all secretly bawling their eyes out. Sanji, trying to walk away without a word, finally breaks down, gets on his knees, and thanks Zeph for everything. It's a raw, beautiful, and powerful conclusion to an arc that truly defined what One Piece would become. It's not just about adventure. It's about sacrifice, loyalty, and the found families that make us who we are. The Baratie Arc is a masterpiece, and it's just one of the many reasons why this story is so special. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more content about the incredible world of One Piece. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.